stretch continues of the NHL season. We've got an Eastern Conference wildcard race and also all kinds of Western Conference teams trying to figure out where they fit in the standings for their playoff position. We have got a lot of great games to break down today. 3 games to look at. Myself, Andrew, Carmine, and Buster to break these down. Sides, totals, team totals. No props today. But looking forward to a great show. Carm, how are you, man? What games do you pick for us today?
I'm doing good. First of all, a big thank you to everyone on $5 Tuesdays at WagerTalk that came along. We had Colorado, 4% play call in Colorado. On the puck line, they get it done, winning 4-1. Left it late, but it doesn't really matter as long as the ticket cashes. That's 4 straight best bet winners in the last 7 days in NHL as we're starting to heat up in time for the stretch run in the playoffs. We're going to talk playoffs with Washington and the New York Rangers. The Leafs are in Sin City tonight. I wonder if Brian Leonard is going to be at the game as they take on the Vegas Golden Knights. And then we're going to finish it off with the Ducks and Canucks. A little bit of rhyming there. The Ducks pulling a few upsets, including a big win in Edmonton last night, beating the Oilers 6-2 in that one. They make the short trip to Vancouver for this one. Some interesting lines today and some interesting line movements that we're going to be talking about. And joining us south of the border, south of the border in sunny Mexico, Don Buster. Buster, let's bring you in first before we get to this first game. I see you already got, you left Canada and you already got a sunburn, it looks like.
It's not a sunburn, really. It's been, as you know, it's Carnival. And yesterday was Fat Tuesday. And we had a bunch of parades. And sometimes you wear sunscreen. Sometimes you have 13 or 14 beers and you forget to put the sunscreen on. And I got a little bit burnt in the forehead, but that's all right. It's just adds to the layers of sun that you keep getting down here. So I keep thinking about that fried egg commercial that they show there every once in a while. So, and I'm really good about putting sunscreen on, but we got partying a little early for Fat Tuesday yesterday. It was a massive parade, and so a little burnt on the forehead, but it's all good, brothers. It's all good.
It is all good. It is guys like me. At least you got some coverage up top. It's guys like me with no coverage. And I have Stacy, I will tell you, I have the same problem each and every year, Andrew. We go on vacation somewhere and I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. I don't need the sunscreen. And then I look like Lobster Boy 48 hours into the trip. And there was one trip in Dominican Republic where I actually got sun poisoning. I was in bed shivering. She was going to take me to the hospital, but a lot of water, some aloe, a little bit of rest, and I recovered. But nobody needs to know that stuff. You know what they need to know? Actionable info. And it is the Washington Capitals, New York Rangers. Buster, right now, this line opened -110, a little bit of Washington money coming in. They are favored now, -120. The Rangers, even money at home, coming off a shutout win over the Thailanders. Total sits here at 6. What do you think? How you breaking this one down?
Thanks, Carmine. I see what you did there with the Thailanders. Yeah, very good. This is going to be a great game at MSG tonight, that's for sure. Really looking forward to this one. I actually like the Capitals here. I know that they're a small road dog, but Washington, I know it's been early in the season. They've dominated this Ranger team this year. They won 7-4 and 5-3, and speed-wise, they just look way better than the Rangers in those 2 games. They really have not played well of late, but they did win the other day. They had a little bit of regression, but although at the beginning of the year when we were talking, I did not. I was waiting for the regression, but we talked maybe in December saying, I don't think there's too much regression coming for this Washington team. They're for real. As far as for the Rangers, yes, they have been playing better hockey. No doubt about it. They've won 4 of the last 5 games. But then again, you got to look who they beat. They beat, as Carmine said, the Thailanders twice. They beat Nashville and they beat Pittsburgh. The only time they had to step up and play a premium team and I almost threw up in my mouth when I said that. They lost to the Leafs. So now they play another top quality team in the Capitals. And I think, for me, I think it's just going a little bit up in class for the Rangers, even though they've been looking good. But this will be a great test for them. Again, with Washington just snapping that 3-game losing streak, I think you see them get on a winning streak. I know Washington historically has had a ton of trouble at MSG, but they've been very good on the road as well this year. They've won their last 7 of 9 on the road. I like them here. I'm taking Washington. As far as the total, as I said, the 2 games they played this year, both way over the total, 7-4 and 5-3. But I got a feeling this one might be a little bit more of a playoff type game. I think a little bit of more grinding out. But as I always say, you don't bet with your gut. You bet with some facts. I really don't want any part of this total. So give me Washington at a small favorite on the road.
They are a small favorite on the road. And Andrew, you look at this game and back-to-back shutout wins for the Rangers. Both goalies quick in that game against Nashville. And then Shesterkin last time out against the New York Islanders in a game that, I thought the Islanders would play a lot better, but the Rangers have owned them this season. And, if you subscribe to that, a team has owned another team during the regular season. We can look at Washington in two home games. This will be the third of 4 games these two teams will play. But Washington, 5-3 at home, 7-4 at home against this Rangers team. Now they head in there. You can say, that win against Ottawa, and I thought they would beat Ottawa, but it snapped that losing streak, where they played 3 very good defensive squads in Tampa Bay, the St. Louis Blues, who can play some defense on the road, and then the Calgary Flames, who were getting phenomenal goaltending as well. And you look at it, and and they beat Ottawa. It's a confidence builder. So, do you build off of that? This is the number 1 team in the Eastern Conference. Their goal differential backs it up. They're not winning with smoke and mirrors. They're winning with talent and structured play on the ice. And Buster made a good mention of the fact that who have the Rangers beaten of late. I'm still not sold on the Rangers. I want them to make the playoffs, but I'm not sold on them as of yet. I would lean to Washington here. What are your thoughts?
Well, based on the sweep that we're about to be in for this game, you know what Joe Ranieri is going to do? Be punching in the Rangers as fast as he possibly can with the contrarian play, because I like the Capitals as well here, guys. And I think the big thing is the fact that you're going to get a focused team. You're going to get a team that's going to show up for this game because of those games they lost previously, right? Like if Washington was coming into this game on a 7-game winning streak, or they won 5 of their last 6, maybe I don't like it as much, but to your point, Carmine, you mentioned the other day on PuckTime about the games that they lost to were against, a hot goalie with Calgary, a Blues team that was playing better, some teams that were playing respectable hockey. And then, of course, you go ahead and play Ottawa. And that was one of my biggest regrets, was not making that an official play, that Capitals team total. Talked about it on PuckTime, talked about it on WagerTalk today. And it was a plus 125 price, and they were absolutely locked in. And guys, right now, where the schedule or where the standings are on NHL.com, the New York Rangers are in that final wildcard spot due to points per game and points percentage. And when you look at things, they're going to move up and down a lot. They're going to fluctuate who's in that wildcard spot, who's in this spot. And to Buster's point, a lot of it's going to be because of who a team plays, right? Taking advantage of an advantageous schedule. So now I'm curious to see, as Buster mentioned, at MSG, how they can fare at home. This is certainly one of their biggest tests so far. This, to me, kind of comes across as an under. Like, I think that when you look at this game overall, you're going to see defense. We have seen the Rangers put together back-to-back shutouts, which is pretty impressive, but hard to sustain, against 2 relatively low-scoring teams anyway, with the Predators and the Islanders. But this Capitals team, like I said, they lose 3 games in a row, Capitals, Lightning, Blues. They still ended up giving up 4 goals. This is going to be a laser-focused game. I lean towards under in this game here, guys. But I also like the underdog as well. But I'm seeing anywhere between 6.5 heavily juiced or under 6 in this game. Wouldn't be shocked to see a goaltending battle here in this one.
Well, Andrew, I'm not sure if I agree with you on the goaltending battle, and I get it. Past performances do not dictate future returns as well as what we expect. But you look at some of the XG numbers, Andrew, and between these two teams, and these are the 2 games thus far. If you look at natural stat trick, and you look at the first game that these 2 teams played on October the 29th, the Caps winning that one at home 5-3. The XG numbers in all situations, if I'm getting this right, and I'm certain I am, 8.97 to 2.35 for the Capitals. Unbelievable. They generated 9 goals, expected goals in that game. They scored 5. And then on the 4th of January, a 7-4 win for the Capitals at home. They generate 5.74 XG to 3.17 XG. These 2 teams, it's like they threw defense out the window for those 2 games, with the Caps leading the way. So we'll see. The Rangers are going to have to play equally as well as they have against the Islanders and Nashville. But neither one of those teams has the scoring that Washington does. Neither one of those teams has the speed that Washington does, and that's why I think maybe we after those couple of wins by the Rangers, we see a little bit of regression.
Yeah.
Any thoughts to that, Andrew or Buster? Or we'll go to
100%.
Andrew first.
Yeah, 100%. I was looking at that too, Carm. Like the Rangers, whether it's since the Four Nations break or since the start of February, this team, sure, they're off 2 back-to-back shutouts, but if we go a little bit more macro and not just over the past week and a half here, based on some of the numbers that I've looked at, the Rangers are second worst since February 1st in expected goals against. And guess who the worst team is? Chicago Blackhawks. You don't want to be next to the Blackhawks in any statistical category. It's not going to be good if you're next to them in any category. So, yeah, the Rangers, that's why it's funny, guys. Like, they're coming off 2 shutouts. And I'm going to go to you, Buster, on this one. The team's coming off 2 shutouts. And I find that in hockey and sports in general, strength of schedule is something that we can care about. It is something that we can look at. But there's also a such thing as momentum, right? Like, a team can just, play well on the ice. They're shooting the ball well on the court. But how much do you look at those shutouts, Buster, that the Rangers got recently and say, well, it was against the Islanders and Predators, versus if they did that against, better teams? Does it not impress you as much?
Well, you know what, Andrew? Sure, it's impressive. It's the NHL. So if you're shutting out teams in the NHL, I don't care who they are, even as Chicago, which, mind you, Chicago's been scoring a lot of goals. But no matter what, you're getting shutouts in the NHL. It's impressive. But my point when I broke down this game is that I fully believe that they're like Washington's talent level is way, way better than these other teams, right? And anybody looking and watching hockey knows that's a fact. Right. So, again, it's how they will be able to play tonight at home against a very good club compared to, like you said in your breakdown, here's a Nashville and the Islanders teams. They don't score a lot. Right. And when they do score a lot, they score a lot. But when they don't, they're getting shut out lots. I'm not sure who's the most shutout team in the NHL, but I tell you, the Islanders seem to be, both those teams, Islanders and Nashville, seem to have had their share of shutouts this year. So although it's impressive, again, I just think Washington's the better club, and they've proved it twice this year. No reason why they can't prove it 3 times. As we both know, Andrew, that our Montreal Canadiens proved it to those Carmine's Buffalo Sabres 4 times this year. So why not Washington doing it to the Rangers?
Yeah, that's like owning a DeSoto and it beat the Pinto in a 100-yard or 100-meter drag race. Neither one is very good at the end of the day, but kudos to you guys with your Montreal Canadiens. Maybe that's why you're a little sunburned today. You've got the colors of the Canadians on your face there, Buster, which looks good. But speaking of Canadians, another Canadian team in the States, Toronto Maple Leafs at Vegas Golden Knights. And guys, this line has been steaming. It opened at 125 overnight, went to 145. As we were going to air, about a half hour, 20 minutes before we went to air, more Vegas money coming in. They're minus 165 right now. And I will say this, we have to look at the numbers, but you have to check the news, especially this week, because of the trade deadline, players being held out of the lineup. You don't know who's in, who's out, and the Leafs are going to be in the trade market, even though they don't have a lot of cap space. Of course, I think they're in that mix as well too. So when you see a number move this high and the goalies are the same, it's going to be Joseph Walden and Aiden Hill. You start to wonder who could be missing for the Leafs. Why is this line up to 165 for the Vegas Golden Knights? So check Twitter, follow Elliot Friedman. He pretty much posts in real time if something is happening, if someone's going to miss, kind of like Vanasek missing last night for San Jose. They sat him out because he's part of the trade talks. Buster, minus 165 on Vegas. Is that too big a price to lay?
You know what, Carmine? It very well might be. I really like Vegas here. I laid the 130 with them earlier today. So I'm kind of shocked that it's gone up that high, that fast. So like you say, something's got to be up because those things don't happen unless, all of a sudden there's a couple guys that aren't going to play. I'm not sure. You're going to have to wait to see the Leafs practice that. So now, I was going to tell everybody to bet Vegas minus 130, 135. Now, as you has mentioned, you might want to watch and see what's actually going on, see what happens after the practices, and go from there. Because Toronto has been playing some great hockey of late. They've won 8 of their last 10. I know they lose to San Jose the last game, but then Vegas, they've been really good, winning 5 of their last 6. And I can't see it just being nothing why it's gone up so much. But I tell you, this is just a brutal spot for Toronto. They're going to play their 3rd game in 4 nights. And what might be worse for Toronto here is that this is going to be their 9th game on the road in their last 11. That's, now they're on another road trip where they played twice at home in the last month or so. Like, that's tough. And they've been playing really well. Like I said, they've won 8 of their last 10. They've been playing well on the road, but got a funny feeling this one catches up to them because they get Vegas, Colorado, and Utah. That's tough, very tough. I really believe it catches up to the Leafs this time. And like I say, who knows if they have injuries, it's even going to be worse for them. Vegas at home, what can you say? They're one of the better teams at home, 22-6-3 record at home. And what else I like about the Vegas tonight is that they have in-season revenge for a 3-0 loss in Toronto on November 20th. Not even scoring, so that'll be on their mind. Another thing for Vegas, they've been sitting there waiting since Sunday. So lots of good things to like for Vegas here. I'm not sure it puts it up from 130 to 165, but I do like Vegas myself. As for the total, I believe you see some 6, but 6.5 for the most part. Kind of, if it's 6.5, I lean to the under. If it's 6, I would pass the total. Looks like, especially now that if Toronto's going to have some injuries in that, they're going to play more defensively. They're not going to try to outscore Vegas, especially in Vegas, because they tend to score a lot of goals, Vegas, at home. And as I mentioned, the first game between the clubs was 3-0 this year. But for me, yeah, I just have to pass this total. Like I say, if it's 6.5, I would lean under. That might be a good under. At 6 is a definite pass. But give me Vegas but check and try to get a better number than that 165 Carmine was talking about. That's for sure.
Oh, and I'm going to go to Andrew on this one. We know that the Leafs are a bettor's favorite team. They seem to take a lot of money. So Vegas taking the money early on. If there's no news coming out of Vegas for this one, you got to figure there's going to be some buyback on the Leafs in this one. Leafs, I mentioned like the trade deadline. I'm not really sure what assets the Leafs have that they can move in that sense, but they're trying to pick up some players. They reached out to the Kraken about Tanev. They have the other brother playing for them, Yanni Gord as well too. So we'll see what happens with the Leafs as far as the trip goes. But Andrew, I'm taking a different stance here. If I like the Vegas Golden Knights, I'm going to take them to win on the puck line, and it's plus 170 the puck line on the Vegas Golden Knights. But here's an interesting thing. Overall, the Vegas Golden Knights are 36-24, plus 18.25 units to the puck line. At home, they are 20-11, plus 15 units, the best home record on the puck line of all teams in the NHL. And I'm going to go one step further. The last 11 victories on home ice by the Vegas Golden Knights at the Fortress, they have covered the puck line. That is one of those stats you can't ignore. If you like Vegas tonight to win, instead of laying $1.65, you could do the old, God bless him, Dave Koken, split the money line, split the puck line kind of thing and bring that price down. But I'm going to take the puck line. Vegas minus 1.5, plus 170, and see what the Leafs have tonight. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, Carm, I like that, and I love that price. And I'll tell you, just my quick thoughts on the whole trade stuff with the trade deadline. I think that it's got to be frustrating right now if you're a Leafs fan or you're in the Leafs organization, because you're seeing everybody around you right now get better. Like the Florida Panthers have already gotten better. They've talked about more space with their cap space because Tkachuk is doing the Vegas and the Tampa Bay move and going on LTIR. So they're going to make more moves. Tampa Bay is talking about making all these moves. But to your point, Carm, Toronto is trying to make moves without getting rid of Easton Cowan or Fraser Minton. That's a problem. You can't really get somebody like that's going to break like kind of like thread the needle without trading away one of those two pieces. At the end of the day, how much do they want to give up for a guy like Scott Lawton or for a second line guy? That's what they need. They need like a second, or they need like a third line center. They need Max Domi. I think Matt Rempe has as many goals this year as Max Domi does. So that's not a good thing if you're looking at his stats right there. So the depth has been a problem right now for the Maple Leafs. But of course, we all saw that game against the San Jose Sharks, and we all know one thing that the Maple Leafs have seen in their last 4 games, guys. Every single game, win or loss, has been decided by 1 goal. So when I look at this one in particular, I like the over here. I like over 6.5. I don't know if it's going to be as successful for the Leafs or successful for the Vegas Golden Knights as far as goals are concerned. But I typically believe that when the Maple Leafs, guys, we've seen this for many, many years. The Maple Leafs have changed a bit. I will give them credit under their new coach. But how do they beat all these teams and then lose to the San Jose Sharks? It's mental. It's a mental state, when you're like getting up for certain games and then you don't get up for the game against San Jose. It happens every year for them. It's why the Arizona Coyotes had a good record against the Maple Leafs. It was like a night off for the Maple Leafs. They never showed up against that team. So you go from playing against the Sharks to the Golden Knights. You better believe they're going to be motivated and fired up for it. Can they battle against Vegas, who's rested and hasn't played a game since Sunday? We'll find out. But I think both sides have a lot of motivation, but also rest right now, which to me leads me to believe we should see some goals. Last couple games between these two clubs, guys, I'm looking at 4-3, 6-3, 3-1, and 6-3. So 3 of the last 4 games have gone over the total, and I'm hoping for some goals here in Vegas. Don't get me wrong. Toronto has some good goalies, and Vegas certainly has some good goalies. Looking at the over in this one, guys, tonight. And also with that move, Carm, that I know you like the puck line, which is a really good price. But the funny thing is overnight, I was looking at that team total, as I always do, and it was around like plus 125, 130 for the Knights. And now currently at the same book, it's only plus 100. So a big change overnight with that team total price.
Yeah, and Andrew, you make a good point. The Leafs, year in and year out, seem to play to the level of their opponents. We saw it last year, losing games to Arizona, Chicago, and Anaheim on home ice, and then beating teams like Carolina, the Vegas Golden Knights, and the Colorado Avalanche. They rise to the occasion. We'll see what they do tonight. But a good point by you the Leafs don't have a lot of assets that they want to move. They have assets, but they don't want to move them. You look at it. Sometimes you have to take that stance. You look at it's a little different, but you look at the Sabres a couple of years back. Jack Eichel, he sort of forced the Sabres' hands, and they made the trade with the Vegas Golden Knights for Tuck and Krebs. Who has won that trade? Obviously, the Vegas Golden Knights did. They go on to win a Stanley Cup with Jack Eichel. I think anyone who leaves Buffalo goes on to win a Stanley Cup. Ask Sam Bennett, ask Eichel, ask O'Reilly. It is one of those things you get out of the armpit of the USA, unfortunately. I have to refer to them as, and you go on to win a cup. But we'll see what the Leafs do as far as that goes. The trade deadline this week should be interesting. We're going to talk the Anaheim Ducks next, Andrew. And I'm going to go to you first on this one. Plus 135 tonight. The Vancouver opened minus 180, dropped to 160, plus 135. This could be, unless he is held out of the lineup. I'm going to say it I sound like a broken record, guys. This could be the last game for John Gibson in an Anaheim Ducks uniform. He is open to going to the Edmonton Oilers, and boy, the Edmonton Oilers need a goalie. I'm not sure if John Gibson is the answer to that, but he's got to be a slight upgrade from what they have going on right now. Andrew, what are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, Carm, you know how I've been so high on Mackenzie Blackwood, the goalie that went to Colorado. I just don't get how the Oilers weren't even in on that at all. I don't get it. This is the thing, is that Stuart Skinner played well in the home stretch of the playoffs last year. I think people could definitely say it. It's not his fault they lost the Stanley Cup. They just couldn't score in the finals. There's no way that he's to blame in the finals against Florida. But, the goaltending last night was brutal against the the Ducks, and it's not getting any better. This is the thing. If you're going to give up, that many goals in a row in their last few games, if you're the Oilers, there's a problem. So, yeah, maybe John Gibson's the answer, but at the same time, John Gibson might have been the answer 3 years ago. He might be past his prime as well. So hard to say, but when I look at this game, I kind of see a Ducks team that's feeling semi-good about themselves. Whether they lose a game or they win, they're putting up goals. They lose a game against the Red Wings, they put up 4 goals. They put up 5 goals the last meeting against the Vancouver Canucks. They put up a handful of goals in their matchup against the Blackhawks. They're putting up goals. They're kind of like the Sharks right now. They're having fun. And there's a difference between like a team like the Blackhawks and a team like the Ducks and the Sharks right now, because the Blackhawks are just looking miserable. At least teams like the Sharks and the Ducks are kind of enjoying things out there. But as far as enjoying things, the Vancouver Canucks are just getting spanked around by teams they shouldn't be, giving up 11 goals their last 2 games against the Kraken, of course, and this very Ducks team. I don't really see that changing as far as their goals they're giving up here. The only thing I see changing is that maybe they're going to be the team that comes out on top. Pettersson, listen to this one, guys. JT Miller on New York has more points so far since the trade to New York than Pettersson has shots on goal for Vancouver in that time. So that's crazy. He's got more points than Pettersson had shots on goal. I like the over 1.5, minus 125 in the first period in this game. The last time we saw these teams play, Vancouver won the first period 2-0. After that, they gave up 5 straight goals. I'm not saying that's going to happen again. I'm also not saying they're going to give up 5 straight goals and lose the game. But I see no reason why this game won't start off with a bang. I do think that both teams could score early on in this game, but I like the price. And I think you got an Anaheim team feeling good about themselves right now, which is great. And you got a Vancouver team at this point that is absolutely as desperate as can be. And, Carm, we always joke around about the free spaces on the bingo card. Obviously, Vancouver hasn't been good themselves, but when you see a Ducks team come to town, very similar to the Oilers last night, you got to take advantage of playing these bad teams. And, when you're not in the playoffs right now, when you're not in a playoff spot, you're kind of just either A, playing for your next contract, or B, you're playing spoiler. And that's what the Canucks wanted, or the Ducks want to do. They want to just absolutely mess with the Canucks. They want to take away opportunities from other teams. We see it every year when these teams, it's like a few games left in the season. This team needs to win this game against that team, and the other team tries really hard. They have nothing they're playing for. They're just playing spoiler. So I'll take the over 1.5 in the first period. And because I'm on a vent right now, I'll say last night I had the Devils and Stars first period over. We had a goal in the minute and a half, guys, into the period, and no more goals after that. That was tough. That was an Andrew sick day, right back to bed after that one. It just was never meant to be for me, that first period over. 1 minute, get a goal, and nothing after that. That was tough.
Yeah, next time you get sick, Andrew, look, cough syrup and a shot of tequila, and it's pretty much going to knock you out. That you'll forget what you were stressing about the night before. You might have some tequila in that glass that you're drinking right now. Buster, I get I'm looking at this two ways, and I'm hoping either one of them leads me to the promised land with the over 5.5 here. Is we keep waiting all year long for this Vancouver Canucks team to look like the team that they looked like last year, and it doesn't seem to be happening for them. They could very well miss the playoffs. The Ducks, yes, they played in Edmonton last night, 6-2. They're on the second of a back-to-back, but they're playing the style of hockey where they're either going out there and scoring a bunch of goals and winning, or they're going to get blown out. And either one works for me in taking the over. Now, there's the rapid revenge. You can look at it. The Ducks 3-back beat this Vancouver team 5-2 at home, and you can look at it and say, hey, rapid revenge is in play here for the Canucks. But does rapid revenge really work when the team, for lack of a better word, is playing like ass? I had to throw that one in there. I'm sorry, Buster.
You must have known I was going to mention that rapid revenge or instant revenge in my breakdown here. Well, Carmine, I see there's only 5 games, so you put this beauty on for us to talk about. So I'm kind of like Andrew. I'm looking at that first period here. So I do like Vancouver because Anaheim has played just beat Edmonton 24 hours later. I mean, they got to be feeling great about themselves going in there to beat Edmonton. I'm sure that hasn't happened too many times. And now you get a Vancouver club that, as you said, they've been bad. They're 1-4 their last 5. Mind you, all 5 of those games were on the road. They haven't played since Saturday, and it is that first home, which I really don't like to go against. So to have to lay with Vancouver 220, that's kind of tough. I don't trust them at all to win by a goal and a half. But Andrew mentioned something that I was going to mention as well, and I will. In that, I like this game to do what my old Buster game back in the day where I used to do the puck lines in the first period. I've thrown in a few of those for my best bets this year as well. But I like Vancouver for the first period on the puck line because you can't bet the money line. The money line was like 180, 185, something like that. So I can't bet that. But on the puck line, you're getting – I got 135 this morning for my clients. There's the prices all over the place when you have these puck lines. So, of course, always shop around. But I like that play because I got to believe if you have any pride, Vancouver, any pride, you should be able to come out flying this game. You've had rest. You've got an Anaheim team that's happy as Larry, as they say, the old saying. And, they're just happy to be there for the first period. They might come out just like the last game. I'd love to see what happened last game. 2-0 Canucks. They come back and 5-2. It goes over. Andrew's happy. Carmine's happy. I'm happy. So, the play I like here is Vancouver on the puck line to win that first period. As for the total, I can see where Carmine's going with the total. Both games this year, 5-2, 5-1. I'm just going to put a little damper on Carmine's parade here, though. These teams are under clubs, as we all know. Vancouver is 7-2 to the under last 9, and the Ducks are 6-3 to the under in the last 9. So that tells me I want no part of the total here, but I do like Vancouver sneezing -1.5. Sorry, -0.5 on the puck line. It's all good, brother.
I thought I was muted there. Sorry about that.
Oh, it's all good. They'll be. Let's hope they're 6-4 to the under after today's game goes over the total. But we'll see. It'll be interesting. And I'm warning you guys again, or warning you, or just we have 2 days till the trade deadline, 3:00 Friday. Watch the lines, WagerTalk's live lines, which is absolutely free. Odds Logic, which is part of WagerTalk as well, too. A great tool in order to get whether it's line moves, whether there's instant news coming across the wire. Sometimes you can beat these books to a number, guys. Just keep an eye on it, because I have to believe that we're going to see a lot of fluctuation in lines over the next couple of days, likely today and tomorrow, as some of these trades go through, or players are just held out of the lineup because there's a trade imminent. So keep an eye on that. We'll see. Not really sure what's going on in Vegas with that number going to 165 in that one. Buster, I'm going to go right back to you for a show best bet, and let us know what you have up at WagerTalk.
Okay, Carmine, thank you very much. We have a site-wide deal special here at WagerTalk with the Flex Picks. So you get 10 days for the price of 7. That's a great deal. So head over to WagerTalk.com and check out that Flex Picks package. Like I say, 10 days for the price of 7. So great deal that the powers to be have going at WagerTalk.com. And when you're there, stop in and grab my 4% college basketball best bet that's up for tonight. Having a nice run since about the beginning of February, hitting 71% with my last 46 college basketball releases. So got a play I really like tonight up on the site. So go over there and check that Flex Picks out and check out my play. Our show best bet for today will be a game that we did not talk about. I'm going to go with the Ottawa-Chicago game over 6. Kind of looking for a pond hockey game here, guys, tonight. Ottawa's gone over the total in 9 out of their last 10. The Blackhawks are also scoring a lot of goals. They've gone 7-1-2 their last 10 to the over. I think they've averaged the last 3 games like 5 goals for the Blackhawks. That's good. They're at home, so I expect a bunch of goals in this one. So the play will be Ottawa, Chicago over 6 for my play on the show here today. As always, thanks Andrew and Carmine for having me. It's much appreciated. I want to wish everybody in the chat, everybody that will be watching this video later, best of luck with all your plays today. And as always, have a great day.
Okay, Buster, good luck with that play. We always enjoy having you on a Wednesday show, giving out some tidbits of information. And that Flex Pack is a great deal, 10 days for the price of 7. So you can actually use 10 of the flexes, or 8 of the flexes on me, and then 1 on Buster, 1 on Andrew. And there's your 10 days. But with that said, guys, 2 plays up in Champions League today, and then 1 best bet going in the NHL tonight. See if we can make it 5 straight best bet winners in the NHL. I'm going to take as the show free play the Vegas Golden Knights first period line, money line. So obviously if they're tied after 1 period, it's a push, but it's -130 on them. The Leafs on the season are 20, 27, and 14 in the first period. They are -19.8 units, which is the second worst first period as far as profitability goes. Only the Edmonton Oilers are worst at 20.27 units lost. I'm going to fade the Leafs in the first period of this one at the Fortress and hope that the Vegas Golden Knights get it done after 1 period of play. So -130 Vegas first period two-way money line for me. Andrew, what do you have up at Wager Talk? Give us a show free play and close us out.
Going to be one best bet so far in the NHL, and actually going to have a rare college basketball play. So looking forward to that tonight as well, Carmine. That promo code's still applicable, still alive. That hat trick 5, guys, still works. Thanks to you guys that have joined me, the guys that want to get in with me for the full season. Hat trick 5 will get you the full season for $2.99. That's every single side, total, prop, future from now until the Stanley Cup Finals. So that's what I'll promote. If you guys want to jump in with me for the 30 days or jump in for the full season, $2.99 for every single play. The 5% plays have been great. 4% plays have been great. The best bets overall have been on a really, really good run. So we'll try and get on a winning side tonight. But if you guys want to join me long term, really good time to do it with that Hat Trick 5 special. And my best bet's going to be the first period over in that Vancouver game. So looking for goals early on, Canucks and Ducks. As we saw last time when that game hit, when those two teams played, we saw that play hit. I'm hoping that we see fireworks early on once again. That will do it, guys. Make sure you find Carmine, Buster, and myself, all of us, at WagerTalk.com. And when you are on the way out, please do us a favor and hit that like button like it stole something from you. We'll see you guys tomorrow right here on WagerTalk TV.